the U.S. Open this weekend, my goodness, what a finish. And we'll bring Rob G in to kind of summarize it for those that don't know what happened. And we obviously don't talk a lot of golf on here, kind of unless it's Tiger. But that's how suspenseful this ending was, and we got to talk about it. So, Rob G, give us the breakdown of what happened.
Yeah, I know you guys never missed the U.S. Open.
That's right.
But for any of our listeners who did, let me set the stage for you. Rory McIlroy.
Chris, you covered some golf, didn't you? I mean, at some point for the newspaper,
Yeah,
I did too. Not a lot.
I covered an event in Akron where Tiger Woods was playing.
Wow.
And met him there.
Noted golf guy, Chris.
That was before I was covering the Cavs, I think.
Rob, why are we talking about Chris when Chris hosts a celebrity golf tournament? So you
guys played in it. What are you talking about?
What are we talking about? You're right.
Remember some of my great shots?
It's like 3 of them.
Those 300-yard drives?
No, I don't remember that. No, I don't remember.
Now, what you did, though, what Rob did at that tournament was he made the short putts, which Rory McIlroy could not do on Sunday. He had a 2-stroke lead with 5 holes to play, looking to end his 10-year drought in a major. He proceeded to bogey 3 of his last 4 holes, missing a 2.5-footer for par on 16 and a 3-foot 9-inch putt for par on 18, which left the door open for Bryson DeChambeau, who hit 2 miracle shots on 18. One of them off of a tree root under a tree to hit that one into the sand just to get it in play. And then he hit a shot from the sand about 60 yards to within 4 feet on 18. He hits the par putt, wins the U.S. Open. So it got me thinking, guys, here's the question. When we look back on this 2024 U.S. Open, are people going to talk more about the Rory choke job or the Bryson shot from the sand?
Well, first, so he missed the 9-inch putt?
No, he missed a 3-foot 9-inch putt.
Oh, I was about to say.
So just under 4 feet.
Okay.
Right.
And then what was the other one he missed?
2.5 feet. And when to make it worse, Chris, I know that you're a big stats guy. Coming into Sunday, Rory McIlroy on putts within 3 feet, putts 3 foot or less on tour this year. I believe the stat was 496 out of 496.
My God.
And then he missed that one.
Oh, my.
That's a choke job, Chris.
That's a pure choke.
It's a choke.
Pure and simple. So what's your answer, Rob? Go ahead.
We always remember. I think we remember the choke job, even though DeChambeau, right, made the great shots. People remember that, and I'm gonna give you my reasoning, Chris, or my thought when I think of a big time moment. And what do we think about the most? The 1986 World Series, Game 6. Do we think about the Mets winning that game to force Game 7, or do we think about Bill Buckner missing the ground ball, Chris?
Right,
That's what we think about. I don't know if how many people remember the score of that game or anything else, but you remember Bill Buckner missing that ground ball. And I think in this case, Rory's choking is what people will remember. That's just me.
I think you're right. I agree with you that we're going to remember the choke job more than, and that was a pure choke job. I mean, even before Rob gave that number, which is incredible.
That's an incredible
You almost
number.
would call that more than 100%. You know what I mean? Because that's like 5 times 100%. 496 out of 496? And you miss, and he hadn't won a major in 10 years, Rob. Clearly the nerves got to him. And that's why golf is so tough, Rob.
Yep.
If you're not feeling like in your mind, it is a mental game to the maximum. And he obviously felt the pressure and it got to him. But I agree with you that that's what we're going to remember. I'm going to give you a few other examples. Well, let me say this first. I don't think we automatically remember the choke more. I think it depends on the magnitude of it, but even more so the spectacular nature of it in a bad way. Like how dramatic was the choke? And I'll give you a couple examples of why I say that. The one where I don't, now you may differ from me.
Okay.
The one, what we'll call, for the sake of discussion, a choke job, where I actually remember the comeback more was Golden State 2016 up 3-1 over the Cavs. I do remember the comeback more than I feel like they choked. Even though you're up 3-1, you're supposed to win. And so because there was the game was obviously Kyrie hit a dramatic shot. LeBron had the dramatic block. And maybe that's why I remembered it more, because they made the dramatic plays. But when I think back, Rob, to the 2011 finals, I do think of LeBron's choke job more so than the Mavericks winning it. And that's why, I always say Dirk Nowitzki's a great player without question, an all-time great. But people feel like I underestimate him. And maybe I do, because maybe they give him, maybe they think more of the great win over that Big Three Miami, when I'm thinking, yeah, you get credit. It was a great win. But if LeBron doesn't give it to you, you don't win it, in my feelings. So that was such a spectacular meltdown, right? JJ Barea is guarding him. He's not shooting. He's just not putting up shots. It was so spectacular that weighs more on my mind than the actual Dallas victory.
See, the reason I don't look at that, and I'm not saying the shot by Kyrie and all that, but I do look at it as no team to me had ever lost that lead, a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals, right? No one had ever done that. And then remember, that year they set the record for the most wins in a regular season. They didn't lose more than 2 games in a row, and they lost 3 in a row, including 2 of the last 3 at home, including a Game 7. So to me, when I look at all of that, there's no way I could not look at the Golden State Warriors and think that was the biggest choke job that I had seen in the NBA. Everything lined up for them, even with Draymond missing Game 5. Like that, they still had 2 more games. You know what I mean? To be able to win, and a Game 7 at home that they lost. So I hear you, but I look at that. When I always talk about that, I always talk about Steph was the author of the biggest choke in the history of the NBA, because it was. There was no reason that they shouldn't have won, even with some of the situations that played out for them.
Yeah, I in this one, Rob, a professional golfer missing a 3.5-foot putt is just, there's no other way to look at that.
No, it's bad.
There is no other way to look at it. And DeChambeau, again, you love it for him that he won, but I don't want to say you hate it for him, but that is going to, I think, override his championship. It doesn't take away from it. But I think, I don't know, Rob G, were you listening to the radio today or TV? Were people talking more about the choke, or were they talking more about the rally by DeChambeau, which obviously couldn't have even happened if it wasn't for the choke?
I'll tell you what, in my experience, the big shows that I would watch, the national shows, the debate shows, the radio shows, the podcasts, they're all a national perspective. And any of us who came up in journalism know it. If it bleeds, it leads. So it was always starting off with
the choke.
I can't believe Rory had it right there. He had it right there.
Right.
No, because that's
right. And then on the flip side, though, is when I was watching or reading golf coverage, everything was about DeChambeau, because that shot that he hit out of the sand, which got him to make the par on 18. We talk about Rory McIlroy being 496 or 496 on putts inside of 3 feet. According to the golf analytics, so I didn't know that those existed. But for him to hit that shot from the sand, from the bunker, and get it to within 4 feet, the probability, according to them, was 1.7%. So it's almost as unlikely that he hits that shot as Rory misses, or actually, almost as unlikely.
Almost.
As Rory missing that putt.
And Chris, you remember Greg Norman?
Yeah.
The Australian golfer, right?
Yep.
He was the king of chokes.
He had those issues. Yep.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
He should have been an all-time great. I don't know how many tournaments, and stuff he was set up and majors to win, and at the end choked.
No, like I said, that sport, that's why it's never over in golf until it's over. Because somebody could do exactly what Rory did